Here at the Rock, Southern Miss loses 21-3 to Tulane. Jackson Kennedy. I'm Diva Mixon, as always, coming from you on the field. A lot of fans on Twitter saying a lot of things that, you know, as a fan, you're probably frustrated from what you've seen tonight. I think anybody would be frustrated from what they saw tonight. I mean, and like I said in a lot of our other videos, I mean, it's really not the 21 points you gave up. It's the 3. You expected to see more from the offense tonight. Can they fix this? Can they fix this going into, you're done with non-conference outside of Mississippi State. You're headed into a battle, a really tough battle in the Sun Belt West, playing some teams with really, really good defenses. I mean, South Alabama and Troy and App State, when they'll play later in the year, they're not in the West, but these teams coming up have good defenses. Do you think, Jackson, they can fix this? Where do you think that they should start trying to fix this? I know that Billy and Will and all the players were all saying in the postgame, like, it's execution, 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 but how does the execution get better?
Well, so contrary to a lot of what is being said on social media, which, again, before it seems like I'm lambasting the Golden Eagle faithful, I understand. I more than understand because, I'm only, 3 months removed, 4 months max removed from being the person that really liked to trash talk on Twitter and all that stuff like that. I understand. However, they can definitely fix this because, not being able to fix this would be like Southern Miss gets beat 42-0 at home and there was no redeeming qualities. You know what I mean? There was nothing. Or if Southern Miss came out here and they just played like they didn't want it. And I know near the end that's what it seemed like. And I know that it seemed like maybe they conceded a little bit, but like things can be fixed. And we're going to see that this upcoming week. Things have already been fixed. One of the bigger things that angered me as, just someone who enjoys seeing football being played well, all the false starts last week against Florida State. That was angering. Year 3, and an offensive line that was really young, really experienced, and got a lot better as time went on. They shouldn't be doing that. And the thing is, not one false start penalty this entire game for the Southern Miss offense. That's incredible. For how many they had last week and fixing it that quickly, that's encouraging. Billy Wiles had an interception week 1 and week 2. No interception this week. And he chucked it down the field, 39-yard pass to Jacarius Caston, standing right there at the Eagle head, maybe like a little bit farther on like the closer side of the Eagle head. Chucks it all the way to the 7-yard line on like just an absolute dot. The accuracy is there. Billy Wiles is getting more command as time goes on, and you can fix this. But it takes patience, and it takes patience, and it takes wanting it, is what I would say. And these guys do seem like they want it. And so if you're calling for Coach Hall's job, just you're here, and bring it to here. I understand. that this is frustrating. This was frustrating to watch for both Dima and I. Like, he and I were texting back and forth like, oh, wow, this is not how we thought this game would go in the slightest. And so we understand, just take a breather. Jeff Bauer was 3-7-1 in year 3 with losses to Tulane, Southeastern Louisiana, and Memphis State. A super embarrassing schedule. And Jeff Bauer could have this stadium named after him. Jeff Bauer could have like the southern half of the state named after him. So be patient. This team has the talent. They have the ability, and they are going to fix this because they can. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody on this team enjoys being where they're at. And we knew that 1 and 2 was the most likely possibility for this team, and they still weren't happy about it. You know what I mean? Like every single player, as I'm kind of walking across the sideline to get better pictures, take videos, stuff like that, these players, they're not happy, Dima. And so if they aren't happy about where they're at, they are going to fix it, and they can and they will.
Yeah, and I'm honestly just tired of hearing about the good old days of Southern Miss, because that's just not really the reality that we live in anymore, right? Like, and I'm not saying from you, but I'm saying just from on Twitter, where it's like, oh, we should be winning national champions and winning the Cotton Bowl, all this stuff. That's college football has shifted so much. I mean, Colorado was winning national championships back in those days, and look what they are now. So, and Nebraska, so it's just college football has shifted so much. So you kind of have to, like Jackson said, level your expectations to Southern Miss is not going to go to Florida State and beat them, right? Southern Miss is not going to go to wherever these bigger teams they play. When they play Ohio State next year, when they play Alabama in a couple of years, all these teams, they're not going to go there and win. But when they come here and you play a team in Tulane, where Southern Miss fans are used to destroying Tulane, like this is like 5 or 6 years ago, this would have been a win column. And then, you're coming into the season saying that's probably a loss. They're 11-point underdogs. It's that much of a shift in college football. And I think that's where the frustration lies in Southern Miss fans. And I think that Southern Miss, this is like, I think they can fix the offensive woes, but like Jackson said, it has to start with, at least in my view, it has to start with recognizing something that's not working and going to what is working, right? Like, when your offensive line is not being able to penetrate the defensive line and you're getting 1 yard, I think the average is like 2 yards a carry tonight, maybe even less. I think it was probably less than that. Like, stop running the ball. Try, like, at least not right up the middle. I mean, maybe some counters, or move the offense, like do something more creative because when they lined up 1st and 10, everybody in the stadium knew what they were fixing to do. And that's what I think they can fix. I think they can fix the creativity on the offensive side of the ball, because it's either run right, run left, run up the middle, or one-on-one throws to the outside. There's not really a lot of like post routes or curl routes or swing. They need to make some, at least in my view, they need to, when they're in the middle of the game, they need to realize what's not working and go to what is working. What was working tonight was the post routes. And like we predicted it perfectly on the podcast, they have to throw over the top of Tulane to win this game. When they started throwing seam routes to the middle to Henderson, it was working. When they started throwing, like Jackson said, that deep ball to Jacarius Canston, that was working. What wasn't working was running straight up the middle. So I think that's how they fix it. They recognize what works and start building on that, and start getting Billy more confidence in that area and more confidence in those regards. Can they fix this? I think they definitely can. This isn't the time to throw the towel. It's only week 3. I mean, I had Southern Miss losing this game, but I think the frustration is not necessarily throwing the towel on the entire season. It's the fact that Southern Miss fans are like, why are we getting obliterated at home by Tulane? Like that. Losing by 18 at home in a rivalry game is embarrassing, and it's frustrating. Like Jackson said, we both understand that, but Tulane is one of the better group of 5 teams. This is the team that won the Cotton Bowl last year against Caleb Williams, the Heisman winner. So this is a very good Tulane team. And, I feel like the defense played well enough to win, and the offense just didn't. So if the defense can continue that and the offense continues to get better throughout the season, you have yourself a good team. But if they keep going, if they keep trying to run the ball up the middle when it's not working, if they keep trying to throw one-on-ones, you're going to see more scores like this, and probably in games that you didn't expect it. So that's Jackson Kennedy. I'm Dave Mixon. Thanks for watching. Much more to come on the Postgame Podcast. Find it wherever you get your podcasts. Read us on sm2media.com. Go look at his pictures, the flashy picture man, and you can read my story there as well. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.